Coming up on Reliving Single.
Now, they say that someone should never waste a good crisis.
Oh,
because
yes.
because a crisis may create a unique opportunity.
I agree with that. Was that a real sneeze?
I was improving.
Acting! Sound really
very
nasal.
and sort of slowing down.
Yeah. First question we have for you is, do you think that Russell should have quit?
Hell yeah.
Sean Baker, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Baker!
Eat it once and you want it twice. Pick knuckles on rice tonight.
What do you do when you get sick? I'm prone to read my last rites. Hey, man, I've been here. I had a good run.
Buxom Enchantress. Oh, my stomach's in knots. Buck, selector. Where you at, man? Roll the next clip.
Hello there and welcome back to Reliving Single, the official, unofficial Living Single rewatch podcast. Woo, I got that out.
That's awesome, Kim. Now, they say that someone should never waste a good crisis.
Oh,
Because, because a crisis, your crisis, may create a unique opportunity.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. Have you ever had an opportunity fall into your lap because maybe someone got sick or couldn't fulfill the obligation? Have you ever stepped up to the plate like that?
Yes, and it changed my life. Okay, so this is back in the day when I was opening for Sinbad. It was like a charity event. It wasn't like his stand-up. And he had to leave early. There was a flight that he needed to get on. I guess it ran late. This is an event, by the way, that Spike Lee was there. He was off to the side. And so it was like, Kim, you're going to have to go on. You know, Kim, you got this. Meaning Sinbad was very loving and very,
Like
supportive.
he was your hype man.
Right,
Like,
like
you
you
no
got this.
problem.
I was like, because he did a few minutes. I thought, I got to follow you. How am I going to follow you? He said, you got this. And he left. And the legend was, Spike Lee was like, yo, you got to follow Sinbad? Yo, I don't know how you going to do that.
Thanks,
Yo,
Spike.
That's rough. I got up and did my thing, and the audience loved me. I had a great time.
Of course.
It was wonderful. It was just fine. I came off stage, and Spike was like, "You did all right. You did okay." And it was because
Damn you with faint praise.
right?
Thanks, Spike.
Sinbad is not easy to follow. Sinbad is incredible
Sinbad
on
is
stage.
Sinbad.
But here's the thing: if I could follow Sinbad, I could follow anybody. And I did my thing. So it was a crisis, but I rose to the occasion.
I did a lot of theater,
Mhm.
and you would always have understudies. And I've had two amazing times where I looked at the people that they hired for understudies, went on to be fantastic actors who you wouldn't believe that's where their start. But one is
Understudies for you.
for me, Chandra Wilson from Grey's Anatomy.
Wow.
And she took over there. And then later on, in about 2003 or so, I did something called The Story at the Public Theater. And there was Susan Kalichi Watson, who was my understudy, and she took over, and now she's This Is Us.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there's no such thing as waiting in the wings. You got to stay ready.
Stay
ready.
ready. Yeah, I was ready that day. I didn't know I would be ready. I was a little scared too, but
Yeah.
you step up and do it. So stay
right.
ready so you ain't got to get
So
ready.
you ain't got to get ready.
Right.
Woo, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
what's
love
up.
It. I love it.
How about that?
Speaking of getting ready and staying ready, I know y'all are ready to get into this episode right now.
Ready.
Ready. It's time for the rewind, where we watch and relive Living Single with you.
Okay, so here we go. Living Single Season 1, Episode 22. Who's the boss? Khadijah is sick with the flu, so Sinclair steps up to run the flavor office for the first time. Now, Regine is sent in to assist. Okay, I think that means spy. But instead finds herself bonding with the staff and actually being helpful. Who knew? The B story, back at the Brownstone, Overton takes on the role of caretaker, tending to a hilariously cranky Khadijah as she recovers. This is written by who, Kim?
Nastrin Dubai and Jeffrey B. Hodes. I believe they were a couple, weren't they? Weren't
Yeah,
they
were.
married?
They
Yeah.
were.
And directed by Terry McCoy, who is a Black woman. And we love Terry. We love Terry. And my beloved, Sean Baker appears as Russell for the first time.
the
It's our-
first
the
time.
first time seeing Russell. We had John Wesley, who appears as Ed Anderson, and Melissa Mimi, your girlfriend,
That's right.
D'Souza, who plays Carmen.
Oh, it's a full
All right.
house.
It's a full house. Let's go.
I gotta prepare for this meeting with Ed Anderson. We need his advertising.
Khadijah,
I can handle the meeting with Mr. Anderson. In fact, I can handle running the whole office.
Sinclair, no.
Okay, before you say no, I'm up on every project. I know the office inside out. And although I've never been in charge of anything in my life, I know I've got great leadership skills.
All right, the office is yours. I'm too sick to argue with you.
Yes! I mean, get well soon.
Listen. I want you to reschedule that Shoo-La-La meeting. I'll handle Ed Anderson myself. Why don't you go down to the office and keep an eye on Sinclair for me?
Khadijah, I'm not about to spend my time off to go down to your office and spy on Sinclair.
In that case, can you please stay home and take care of me?
Spying's good. Spying's really good.
Khadijah's got the flu, but refuses to slow down. Was that a real sneeze? You
yeah.
okay?
No, I was improv.
Acting!
Ding.
And we know that Latifah was acting. She wasn't really sick.
No, she wasn't.
But she did a great job even making herself sound
Yes,
really
very
nasal.
and sort of slowing down.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Now, the interesting thing about Khadijah is she has a problem with work-life balance. So
Yeah.
here she is sick.
Yeah.
And the crisis is, if she's not there, did she and does she have an alternative?
I don't know if Khadijah is just concerned that Sinclair can't do the job or that she thinks I'm the only one who can do the job. Or is it a little bit of both?
Maybe both. I mean,
Okay,
let's just be
okay, a little
honest.
bit of both.
Because you've already shown that you have some
Demonstrated
issues.
that I've had some issues
Yeah,
with.
but it's like also her fault. I don't blame Sinclair because she hasn't trained Sinclair to take over, but she hasn't trained anybody.
right. She's
So
like,
who has the trust, who has the vision, who has the time?
And it's one of the things that entrepreneurs do is we and I'm one, we think that we can do it all, we should do it all. And the truth is delegating really helps you expand even faster and even stronger. And give people the ability to strengthen their own abilities. So yeah.
So she must be really messed up because she
She's-
actually let Sinclair do it.
But if you remember, she says, put me on the phone, call me if anything
That's right.
happens, and just leave the line open so I can be checking on you.
It's a temporary thing, and
It
she
is.
thinks she can even control that, but she can't. But smart girl, she sends Regine the spy.
Right. She wants information because she needs to know this is her baby, and she knows that she has not trained Sinclair to really do it well. So maybe she does need some eyes on the prize.
Sinclair, you want to see a grown man cry?
That's very secure of you, Russell, but no thank you, not really.
We're doing the music issue, right? And I'm the music editor. What makes you think you can make the headline bigger on my layout?
Well, Khadijah asked me to take care of things while she was sick.
She got brain fever, eh?
All right, what would you have done?
Same thing, but it would have been me doing it. Font bigger, go. Bobo gal.
Overton, I want you to go away. I get very cranky when I'm sick. Very cranky. Luckily, I can take care of myself.
Yeah. Did you take your medicine?
That stuff smell like feet.
Well, let's just see if it tastes like feet. Now say,
So first of all, I love that we get to see Overton in his caretaking mode. That means that Sinclair is going to be well cared for if she ever gets sick. So we're
True.
putting that in. So
He's
that's
sweet and gentle,
So, yeah.
and he loves her. Yeah.
right. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sinclair's new look.
Come on.
Professional.
You look like a baller.
I look put my hair away and I have on a suit. I'm
Yes.
taking this seriously.
Yes. Is that how you dress in real life? Like more like professional?
No. I'm more
more
boho.
boho-
I mean, look what
boho.
I'm wearing. Yeah. But I do like a good, snatched, tailored experience. But the truth is, flowy and free is my style for
Mm,
sure.
No doubt.
I'm playing the part.
Yeah.
And given decisions to be made, the great Mimi Sousa.
Mimi D'Souza.
Mimi
Yes, looking
D'Souza.
good.
It's like, what do you want? Font, bigger, go. I don't know what to do with it, but so I make a decision. Yeah.
I think that you have leadership skills, and I think it's showing that she does. You did a good job
I
because
think
you
so,
just
too.
said, what would she say? You said it to the person who's
Right.
responsible.
Because I can't change anything that's happening there. I
Yeah.
want to stay in line with. So what would she say to do? Well, then go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was great.
And it proves that her people know her. right? Her people, her staff
Oh, that's
knows
true.
what Khadijah would want.
Yes.
And I'm empowering her to go and make that happen.
Right.
And listen, so this is the first time we meet Sean Baker. Russell. People love that character.
Yeah.
And love his strength. And I like that he's pushing against Sinclair. It's like, wait a minute, I would have made the same decision, but he wanted to be the one to say, font, bigger, go.
I love Sean Baker. He has a musicality to his body. He puts his whole hands in the scene up here. Like some people act here.
Right.
It's
oh,
not-
no, his whole, and if you notice, he thrusts his body.
Thrust his body into the room.
Well, he's a theater kid.
That's
and
what's
as
up.
a Jamaican, listen, if you've spent any time in New York, and we all know the legend of the Caribbean people, they are passionate, they
Yes.
are opinionated, they are
Yes.
colorful, and he came in and rocked that role.
I can't believe this Chicken Yard magazine and you in charge. I can't work like this. I quit.
Russell, you can't quit. We can't do the music issue without you.
You should have thought of that before you sold your soul to the man. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, well, you're fired. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Back to work.
You're all get back to work. By the way, a little side note, so even though my hair was pulled back and sort of snatched into this very professional do, I had asked the hair department to set it up so that when I did that hair would fall all in my face. So that was all
well
set
done.
up for the extra comedy.
Well done.
Yeah.
Nice. And I like the revving up.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
get to work.
Get back to work.
It's always nice to see, boss lady Sinclair do her thing.
Right,
They
right.
say pressure makes a diamond,
Yes.
but
I'm-
you more like a rock,
I'm like a
Pressure makes
cubic
rock.
zirconia.
But you about to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Right. Now we have this growth, this moment where Sinclair has to manage the
Yeah.
ultimate. Now,
Anarchy in the
anarchy
office.
in the
Anarchy.
office.
Your growth is messed up though, because it always means something has to fall apart.
Right.
No offense, Sinclair, she builds, but after she's only destroyed.
Isn't that how life goes sometimes?
Yeah.
Sometimes things have to fall apart in order to come back together stronger and newer. And
Yeah.
we don't know yet.
Transformers more than meets the eye. Do you think, was Russell right to quit, Kim?
I don't think Russell was right to quit. I think it was going way overboard. And maybe he felt bad that he was passed over for a promotion or passed over. Like maybe he would have been the next. He's the music editor. Certainly he could have stepped up to take over the office until.
These are all hypothetical.
Right.
You know what I think?
What do you think?
We should just ask him.
Why don't we ask Sean Baker? Sean Baker, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Baker. Baker,
Baby.
Thanks for popping in.
Kim Coles,
you for
Eric
popping in.
Alexander, looking incredible, beautiful, sexy, hot, gorgeous.
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on now.
We trying
And
to-
legend, as y'all say, legend.
Legend. Oh, he's been watching
He's
it.
a legend. Sean.
But Marta, you for real? I mean, you're both, legendary. So
Thank you. It's-
warrior queen beauties.
That's what we
He's
do.
about to make us both
warrior
melt.
queen beauties.
I thank you
Scrumptious.
so much.
So,
Scrumptious.
so the first question we have for you is: do you think that Russell should have quit?
Hell yeah.
He didn't even
No, I mean
hesitate.
he knows his stuff. He knows his worth, right? You know, when you know your worth, you got to follow your passion and your dreams. And I think also too, I wanted to ruffle your feathers a little bit.
Okay.
You know what
Why?
I'm saying? Because I knew that you you were out of your element.
Yeah.
You know,
Ooh.
I knew eventually I was going to get what I wanted,
Right.
right? So
Oh.
that's why I got that picture, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think, go after your dreams. If you know your worth,
Know
know your worth.
And Russell certainly knew his worth.
Yeah,
You know
man, I
what?
knew
This
his
is
worth.
your debut episode.
That was the very first
It's your
time.
very first episode, and the first day you throw a fit and quit, which is great. All in the same episode, and when you come on like a storm. Your whole body performs.
Right.
Your hands are up.
The writers and Yvette Bowser created that character, created the show, obviously, but also created that character. So I knew going in, because I had seen the show, and I was like, okay, they bringing the noise with this show.
Right.
So I knew I had to bring it. I mean, I didn't know where it was going to go, but I knew at the time, you play full out.
Did you know that Russell was going to come back?
No.
Or this was just one episode.
It was a guest spot. It was a one-time shot. My mother, rest her soul, she started a campaign to bring me back.
Are you kidding?
On my
Please.
Wow.
my
Do we
mother,
get this
Gloria
now?
Mary
Do we
Baker.
wait?
My
It's
mother.
going, what?
I
What?
swear,
How'd you-
I swear, because I mean, it was a one-time deal, right? But
Right.
so my family, my mother's parents were from Jamaica. A lot of people don't know we're
Wonderful.
from we're
Okay,
from
yes.
Jamaica, West Indies. So the music and the culture and codfish and ackee and roti and curry
them
goat was
ting.
all them
That's-
things was
are you
around
turning me
while I
on?
was
Turning me on with the food and the
yeah.
potty
Pick
and
knuckles
bowl
and
bread.
rice tonight. You eat it once and you want it twice. Pick knuckles and rice tonight. So for me. The character was, honestly, for me, it was a tribute to my maternal grandparents and to my mom. But being on a series is like winning the lottery.
Yeah,
the truth.
yeah.
So my mother was like, okay, who do I know in Cleveland? Who I know in this person? Who I know? Call it, got the address to Warner Brothers, I guess, or the producer, Fox or whatever. And they started a campaign. And the first season I did one episode, second season I did one, and then they kept,
Bringing you back.
kept bringing me back. And it is the gift that keeps on giving because I'm so thankful and honored to be here with you all. I haven't seen you since, can we talk about what last time I saw you?
We're going to talk about.
We got another clip.
Oh my goodness.
Save it.
We got another clip. Yeah.
Save it.
No,
Buck, selector. Where you at, man? Roll the next clip.
Overton!
What?
Change the channel!
Use the remote.
I can't reach it!
Promising Claire. Overton, man, you're going about this all wrong. Her Highness wants toast? I don't think so. Slap some jelly on this bread like this. She'll eat it and like it. Observe. Yo, Khadijah. Okay. Oh, Max, it's so good to see you.
Man, daggone. Well, Overton, here's that jacket I borrowed from you, man.
Hey, Kyle, that jacket I borrowed from you.
I want to shout out Overton for taking care
my
of my
goodness.
cousin. Isn't that sweet? But the patience is wearing very thin.
Please.
Overton! What? And I love that. I love that each one of his what, elevated each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What do you do when you get sick? Because
Mm.
I'll tell you,
Okay,
I'm
what do you
prone
do?
to read my last rites and give my wishes. I do it all the time. Like, hey man, I've been here. I had a good run. I'm cool.
Right.
And if
you
I go
rewrite your
tonight,
will or
no,
something?
I just tell people. And if tonight's the night, then it's been real.
Right.
And
So do you go out and party? Do you party?
No. This is me. I'm sick.
Right, but I'm
I just
saying,
want
do you
people-
still do you have a party at home? 'Cause
No,
you can have you can
no.
still celebrate. Like I'm about to check
no,
out.
dog
but I'm-
face.
right.
This is
I'm
me
a
hunkered down. No.
Do you have a pity party? So it's a pity party.
No, it's not pity. It's
Oh.
literally like,
She's
don't cry for
preparing.
me, Argentina.
Right.
You were supposed to have been immortal.
Dig it.
But you're
That's all
not.
they wanted.
Right.
Not much to ask for. That's what I am, man. I'm telling people, don't cry for me, Argentina. And actually, so that's what I'm prone to do.
That's
My
real
sickness behaviors
emotional.
are to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I want to live a long time, so I don't.
But
I
what
always-
do you do
I
when
always-
you're sick?
I
How do
just-
we know you're sick? You get babyish?
No, I just lay in the bed and wrap up. I got the
Okay.
flu years ago when I first came to LA. I got the flu, and something about the flu out here where you just feel it all over, just everywhere.
The
Everything
Hollywood
hurts.
flu. That's that
Maybe
Illuminati.
well, I don't know about that, but listen. So my mother, my car said, "Ma, I got this flu." She said, "Okay, baby, you make you a hot toddy,
Right.
get you some tea, put some liquor in it, put some Vicks vapor rub all over your body, and wrap up." And that's what I did, and I sweated it out.
Sweat
The
that
next day, I
bad
was like, "I'm free.
Wow.
Give us free."
Give us free.
I was free.
You've always taken good care of yourself. We're going to talk about that when we talk about you. You be
I feel on him.
exercising.
I feel like I need to feel on him. By the way, we got to say one little thing about Kyle's arrogance. He comes in and he fixes that piece of bread and throws that jam on it and says, "This is how you treat a sister.
Uh-huh.
Go in there, just give it to her and she'll like it." He came back, that thing was plastered on his
Right.
shirt.
Mhm.
And then he, being mean, evil, hugs Max. Max goes, "Oh man, Overton, here's your jacket." Overton says, "Oh, Kyle, here's your jacket." So that's like karma.
Full
And
circle.
great
Karma
writing.
Full
and
circle.
great writing.
Great writing.
And great acting.
And great.
You
oh,
all
yeah.
played it honestly. You're very,
Mhm.
fantastic. So
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I love it when those things
And
come around.
direction, all of those elements.
All of them.
All those elements.
That
yeah.
was so fun.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
next clip.
Next clip.
And they say we make the worst patients. Personally, I think men have a higher threshold for pain.
Oh, please, Kyle. If you had to endure cramps once a month, you'd knock yourself out with a blunt object. May cause severe drowsiness. I'm going to knock her out. And then I'm going to raid the fridge, and I'm going to work.
Too bad that stuff doesn't come in a dart. Just be like,
The bottle stays up. The bottle stays up. Yeah. The bottle stays up.
Kyle says that men can tolerate pain more than women. Come on.
So we have a man here, so we have to ask,
I-
is that true?
I don't think so. I mean, men can't carry a baby for 9 months.
Thank you.
you
And
know,
push that
and,
whole.
I mean, obviously they can't, but I mean, to give life and carry life, respect to women. Respect.
Thank you.
God bless. God bless you.
Can you imagine your whole opening up enough to
No.
deliver like a whole 5-pound bag of potatoes? That's what's going
Or
on.
8
Sometimes
pound
8
or
or
9
9-pound bag of potatoes.
Can we just take a moment to really revel in this beautiful moment of comedy where Overton talks about hitting her with a dart,
Yeah.
and they both
Yeah.
imitate what would happen if you go down. And what happens, Sean?
Genius.
Genius.
And his genius. They're genius. No, but they're both brilliant.
Yeah.
TC and John, both brilliant. And the bottle that just doesn't go down.
The bottle that doesn't go because he had to
He
keep
holds
it up.
Had to keep it up.
While
And
they-
you got to have strong legs.
Right.
He took it down, but he kept that bottle up.
Kept
It
it
was
up.
an extra
It's
something.
brilliant. Comedic genius.
Comedic
both
genius.
What do you people want? I'm dancing as fast as I can.
Get away.
excuse me.
What? What do you want?
I've got a 2 o'clock meeting. The name is Ed Anderson. I'm from Shoo La La.
Okay, well, in that case, please have a seat in our waiting room.
Let's cut straight to the chase, shall we? Your stores in Manhattan are doing well.
Very well.
And how about your stores in Brooklyn?
Well, they could be better. Oh, that's why I'm here.
No, sir, that's why I'm here. The majority of our readers live in Brooklyn and spend a good deal of their disposable income on clothing, accessories, and footwear. We could put a coupon ad in next month's issue, and if your Brooklyn sales don't increase, your ad is free.
You're that sure?
If I'm wrong, I'm dead.
Miss James, may I call you Khadija?
Of course.
Then, Khadija, you've got a deal.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'll have my incredibly efficient assistant Sinclair send over the paperwork.
Let's talk about this Sinclair, though. She's a baller. And she does a little piece of risky business here.
Right.
Because she makes a promise.
She makes a promise that she doesn't know how it's going to work, but she is given this, again, pressure. It's a challenge, and she rises to the challenge and makes this deal after nearly messing things up because she forgot about the meeting.
Right.
She forgot about the meeting. And you talked about this while we were watching the clip. There's chaos going on. There's people running
It was
around
crazy.
back and
Like,
forth.
what was Maynard
Yeah.
or whoever doing,
directing
Rest
all the
his
people.
soul. Yeah,
It's
rest his
utter
soul, man.
chaos.
Yeah.
Utter chaos.
Yeah, but she
Uh,
says if Ed Anderson sales don't increase, the ad is free. That's not hers to make, meaning a promise like that. But I actually think that Khadija wouldn't have offered that. So
no
it
way. Oh, no
so I
way.
think it was a good deal.
So maybe I'm going to
Right.
take this chance.
Would you
You
think it was a
flew
good
by the
business
seat
deal?
of your pants. You followed your intuition, follow your gut,
Right.
and went for it.
She's being like Khadija and she's channeling Khadija. She did. Because that means that she's more like her cousin than she thinks.
Right.
And I think that that's cool.
Right.
I mean, if you were Khadija, but you did act like Khadija.
I
And so
did.
acting like Khadijah's acting like a Queen Latifah.
I
And in that
did.
space, a lot of people, I think, take on personas they see on TV and go, I'm going to be that
yes.
person here. I know how they would do it. And then next thing you know, it propels them forward, shows them the way.
So she acted as if.
Well, I also too think that fans will watch the show, right?
Yeah.
And they see the characters. We have to see ourselves. We have to see our representation.
Yeah.
That's why we get so excited to see, oh my
Yes.
God, I know that person. I know that. That's my cousin. That's my auntie. That's my,
I've
you know,
said that.
and they will take on that persona when they're getting ready for a meeting or a big meeting for a job opportunity, or if they want to run a corporation, they will, like you said, they're taking it as if they're taking on that persona of a Khadijah or a Maxine Shaw or a Sinclair, whatever.
You know, if you transfer that onto how many kings of Wakanda now are out there, how many Sean Bakers are there who understand that they can express themselves, even though he was, I think, a character inside of a comedy. He said what he wanted in life.
Absolutely.
And he was never not Black and Jamaican and everything. He was always himself in that space.
Being
and I think
authentic.
that it's important for us to know as performers, because we take on personas all the time,
Mhm.
that inside of all those personas is a piece of us.
Of course.
It's a huge piece of us. And so we got to give ourselves props. Come on, can we give
Can we
ourselves
get a high
props?
five?
You know what I'm saying? They ain't no.
Well, you know, it takes a lot to do what we do as creatives, right? You want to be able to inspire somebody. I feel like if you're coming out, you want to be able to inspire somebody and uplift somebody and motivate somebody. And so my prayer is to always to be able to give to people and do your part. You know, play full out.
I have one question. Why is there a full-page picture of Russell in the magazine?
It was the only thing I could do to coax him back. He has a real problem with women in power.
Khadija, good to see you, boss lady. Got your little welcome back gift. Don't mention it.
Ask kisser.
We're in the presence of someone who comes from the background.
Yeah.
Theater, dance, music. You couldn't not bring your all because you've been trained in
He's
all
a
the all.
showbiz kid.
You
He's a
are. And you're a New York
triple threat,
showbiz
everything.
kid, right?
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about your beginning. Didn't you go to the high school for the performing arts? What's your story?
I did. But before that, I have to, again, go back to my mother. My mother, she wanted to go to the performing arts high school, but she ended up going to George Washington High School with her friends. So she made a choice at a very early age, but she still had a passion for the arts. So she instilled that in my brothers and sisters and I, and just encouraged us to, to find our way through the arts. First Broadway show I saw, I think I was 8. It was a show called Coming Uptown on Broadway with the late, great Gregory Hines.
Oh, come on.
And Loretta Devine was in that production, and so many, Kevin Jeff,
Oh, man.
so many phenomenal people. But I knew from seeing that okay, this is it.
This is what you wanna do.
This is what I want to do. And I, did a lot of theater. I did American folk theater at 10 years old. I played Adam, the story of the creation. It was Oscar Brown Jr. called In the Beginning. And I played
In the
Beginning. Oscar Brown Jr., phenomenal playwright and author. In the Beginning, there was a gentleman, wonderful, talented man named Joe Lynn, who became my theater dad. He became my mentor. And he was in the original production of Dreamgirls.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up backstage seeing, Ben Harney and Cheryl Lee Ralph,
Oof.
Loretta Devine,
My
and
goodness.
Terry and Debbie Burrell and Vondi Curtis Hall and
Bonnie.
Oh,
Charles
come on.
Randolph Wright. That's where I first met Charles Randolph Wright. And Felicia Rashad was in that, and Vanessa Bell Calloway. Absolutely. So these were
greats.
these are and were at that time my heroes.
Yeah.
So in order to work in New York, you had to be able to sing,
Mhm.
dance, and act. You had to be able to do a little bit of everything. And so those are the people who I emulated, and they were my mentors. So yeah, definitely.
No wonder
But
you have
performing
excellence
arts-
baked in,
But
right?
That's just it.
I remember as a kid, my mother was like, okay, I got you the Little League, I got this, that, and this, and you got this recital, and we got this rehearsal. Sean, I need you to make a decision. I'm like all over the place.
I got to play with you on Living Single. I got to see you in this space. And Charles Randolph Wright, as you know, is
Yes.
a great playwright and
Absolutely.
has gone on to
Director,
produce all the amazing things on the Broadway. He and I co-wrote what I affectionately call a one-woman show with 4 men in it. So it's
Yes.
really a play called Homework. And I asked you to audition to be in this show. I
Yes.
think you did you audition or did I just give it to you? I don't remember.
You should have
I
just given it
should-
to him.
well,
She should have just
oh,
gave it to
I
me.
should have just given,
But
but
if
here's
he
the
Come
was
on, get
gracious
that
enough to audition,
you were, but here's
Okay.
why I had people audition, because the show required these men to play up to 12 characters each.
Right.
And so I had seen you as Sean, I had seen you as Russell, and I knew that there was a character. There was a character that was playing my Jamaican father, so I knew you could handle that.
Right.
But I wanted to see all the other things. It was a lot.
It was a lot, yeah.
From my perspective.
Right,
So
right.
you want to talk a little bit about our experience in homework?
The joy. There was a lot of laughter
Oh my goodness, Sean.
on Living Single, but also working with you on homework.
You got to dance in the
I got
show?
to,
yes, that's what I remember.
yeah,
You
yeah.
dancing.
And
By the way,
Yeah.
phenomenal
Right.
dancing.
What are those things?
Unreal.
What are they called?
Rhonda Shams.
Rhonda Shams. So Sean is playing a character who's an alcoholic, sort of a little bit broken down. And by the way, the show, we only, all you had was a hat or a jacket or a
Right.
scarf. There was no time to have
we
full
had to switch
costume.
characters
And
immediately.
so here you are with a flask,
Right.
and we would all go backstage to get ready for the show, for rehearsal,
Right.
and you would do a rond de jambe, and the audience would just lose their mind.
What is a
because-
rond de jambe?
Explain.
So
One of the hardest dance moves.
she's pulling dance moves out of the air, but a Rhonda Sham would be taking your, and I'm not going to get up and do it, but you
Okay.
take your leg and you would wrap it around. You can do it like this.
across the stage.
Right, and then you can turn with it. But I have to say this too. So I took from a lot of different people that I had known and worked with, but the voice was the late great Faya Nicholas
Mhm.
from the Nicholas Brothers, because I had worked with Harold Nicholas, and I
The
don't know
Nicholas
if the
brothers?
Nicholas brothers looked
Do
them
you
up.
understand
Yeah.
what's happening
Yeah.
here?
So Sean,
This is, no, but people need to know how close it's. That's why Sean is a genius.
No, I'm
Right.
not.
Because, no, but it's real. Because look who trained and poured into you. Look how your people
no,
are.
definitely.
My mother, who's 95 years old,
Wow, God bless her, man.
has
God
a
bless her.
memory
God
of
bless
you
her.
that she still brings up to this day.
Are you serious?
She came to the show and she met each one of the guys. And to this day, she says, I remember Sean coming and hugging me and laying his head on my bosom. And you had told me that his mother had
He's a
just
mama,
passed
yeah.
away.
He's a mom.
And you just came and you just embraced her. And she was like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, but I know what's going on.
I know it's
And Tim, he laid his head
Buxom
on my
Enchantress.
bosom.
Buxom Enchantress.
To this day, she's still.
She shimmied for me one time. You know.
Shimmy for me one time. No, it wasn't that. It was
No
mother's
disrespect,
love.
I love you.
And
So
she
the
just-
mother's calling me like, what you doing?
Buxom and
No, I
Enchantress.
mean,
Anyway, and now.
Will you lay on my bosom?
Right.
I haven't.
Anytime.
Entranced bosoms. I do.
You do. I lay you on my bosom.
Oh, my stomach's in knots.
Welcome to the
We'll try it
show.
off stage.
When you did that show with Pam Anderson,
Oh my God.
what was the name of that show?
It was called VIP. So this is funny now. This is funny. And I have to thank Yvette Lee Bowser. I have to thank all of you. As a result of doing Living Single, I got a call about VIP and I never auditioned.
Oh.
I met with Jonathan Lawton, who was the creator and director and producer, and Pam Anderson. And first thing that came out of her mouth was, I got a crush on you. And I said, I got a crush on you too. And
I love it.
I left the meeting feeling like, yeah, we're going to be working together.
It's a beautiful scene of you being,
Tortured.
captured and tortured, shirtless.
She's looking at your torso, all muscly.
All muscly.
With the nipples going.
And nipples go. And I believe you have a panther.
Right, right. I
a-
do
a
have
tattoo.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're there being,
Do
tortured.
you have that on your wall somewhere?
No. I have it in my heart. I have it.
okay.
I have it
Maybe we
emblazoned
can
in my
create
heart.
that as
glistened
merch.
up, sweaty and glistened
Glistening.
up. I was like, nobody could have done this but Sean Baker.
You showed Daniel Craig how to do it before they did it in Bond. What's up? Anyway, in the midst of every crisis lies a great opportunity. It's kind of attributed to Albert Einstein. In the midst of every crisis lies a great opportunity. Perhaps whether somebody didn't show up or you stepped in, or maybe the crisis was with you and something happened. What can you tell everybody?
When I was 12, I think, I auditioned for the Tap Dance Kid.
Mm.
It was me and Alfonso Ribeiro, Jimmy Tate, David Calloway. And they came to me and they said, listen, Sean, you don't have to come to any more of the workshops because you have everything we need for the Tap Dance Kid, but we can't go into rehearsals. There's a Broadway show coming up. We can't go into rehearsals with just one. We need two. We need three. One and then two understudies. They cut me from the process 2 days before the final producers were supposed to see me. And when I tell you it was I was a kid. I was 12. It was devastating. Devastating. So I went and just got in the studio and just wood shop, just work. I took it like personally. I just was like, no, I gotta get better. I gotta be better. I gotta sing better. I gotta act better. I gotta be better. So same people were casting my one and only. They said, Sean might be too young, but we want to send him anyway. Because I had prepared and I used that opportunity, that setback, so to speak, went in for my one and only and booked the job with my one and only. Whatever setback you think is a setback, you use it as ammunition to propel you to great, 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 great things.
Come on. That was bravo. Sean Baker, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's true.
Sean, we'll have to do a deep dive on season 2 on the show. Will you come back, please?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely. No, of course
yes,
I would. He said yes. Of course I would come back. Seriously, it's an honor and a pleasure to be with both of you. I love you both dearly. And congratulations and continued blessings on everything you're doing. I'm so inspired by both of you and have been for many, many years. I had a crush on all of y'all. Seriously, on the real. If we're gonna be real, I got a crush on, well, I couldn't say it at the time.
You don't
I was in a relationship. You know what I mean? I was in a relationship. All of you guys really embraced me and encouraged me. So of course I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Please.
You heard it here
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming on
Let's
the show.
go to the reverb.
Let's go to the reverb.
Reverb.
Okay, Erica.
Talk to me.
Black excellence. Go. I'll start. Living Single.
Okay, our beautiful melanin in all shade, family cookouts, hip hop, R&B, basically every genre of music.
Okay, you know how we invented all them line dances and people know the songs and they know how to do all the line dances? How do we do that, Black excellence?
I don't know. And our hair, the way it grows from our scalp, we can do so much. Natural, locks, cornrows.
And it fades. Exactly. See, Black excellence has layers. You see what I did there?
I saw it.
And Lexus, well, they understand and deliver the luxury that we deserve.
Because when you embody excellence, you need a ride that moves like you do, smooth, smart, and impossible to ignore.
Oh, from the moment that you touch that wheel, Alexa says, I didn't just show up, I showed out.
No, it's more than a car. It represents how you walk through the world. Intentional, grounded, fly, without even trying.
Because that's what Alexis does. It makes you feel amazing.
And look good too.
Well, then there's that. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Reverb, brought to you by Lexus. Y'all know this is where we reflect and connect and talk about how the episode's themes still echo in the culture. Because just like our stories, Lexus keeps raising the bar. That's the standard of amazing.
Wow, Kim, amazing. I mean, Sean Baker is a masterclass, and we were going to have a masterclass. We wanted to talk on this show because we started talking about, this saying, this quote, that in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. And
there he was.
There he was to give us examples of it. But now we need to talk about between ourselves, what that means for us.
Yeah.
And one of them that I think is pretty unique is the creation of Concrete Park, which is my comic book. And the comic book is a graphic novel now. Me and my ex-husband, Tony Purrier, who's my creative partner, we wanted to tell a science fiction story about the future. And we said, what if Earth sent its poor, its youth off to another planet? Would they reproduce the tribalism, the hostility, and the racism, or would they make something new? We figured they would make something new, and it's going to be called Concrete Park. Robert Alexander, my brother, he was involved in it as well. So we went around and started pitching it. And since Tony has a background in advertising from J. Walter Thompson, he used these kind of mock-ups to show the people. He says, they have a little trouble sort of seeing the future through our eyes, and we wanted it to be a multicultural future. And we'd waited a very long time and had been sort of encouraged. You know, you can be encouraged to death. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, we love that. But then nobody wants to pull the trigger. It's just too risky. Because they see the black and brown faces. And we thought we've got to get this going. So we waited a very long time, actually many years, for a meeting with a Hollywood president. And we got in there and we started to do our pitch. Tony laid it out. And just like at the beginning of our pitch, he said, let me stop you right there. He said, Black people don't like science fiction because they don't see themselves in the future. That's a quote. And then he tells us about this movie he made. And this movie was a science fiction movie, and it was actually not that good. But off of that, they had a focus testing, and there was a young Black man who was in the theater who stayed and was just sort of looking at the screen like, what? And they came out and said, do you have any questions? And he said, the young man looked at him, young Black man looked at him and said, yeah, I just want to know, how'd that nigga get to Mars? Wow. Now, what's interesting about that is he's telling two Black people that we don't see ourselves in the future, and we're pitching him a science fiction show. Tony Puryear was the first African-American to write a movie that made over $100 million with Eraser. And I may not have a background in science fiction, but off of this one young Black man, probably just being sarcastic.
Probably so.
He thought they can't see themselves in the future. What Tony said, for Black people, the past is painful, the present precarious, but the future is free. We always see ourselves in the future. In fact, the future that you're living in is because Black people created it. The blues, rock and roll, all these things, you know, everything that you think is great about America culturally, it came from Black people. And y'all, you know, it's a community thing, but don't ask us not to see the future. And he
sometimes
said,
that's all we had. That's all we had.
That's all we had. You took our past away from us, didn't give us a present. We have to look to the future in order to live and survive. Plus, he said, look at Octavia Butler, the science fiction star, and Samuel Delaney and all this. And he says, I don't want to say anything, but maybe y'all figure it out from here, who this studio head is. He said, the number one science fiction star in the world is Will Smith. And he's at your studio, Independence Day.
Didn't they call him the
Men in Black?
Mr. July 4th, because every July 4th.
Did it. He actively, strategically said, I'm going after sci-fi and those things. I am legend. He didn't even know who was paying his check. So we walked out of there and we really kind of down. He said, oh, F it, I'll draw it. And he taught himself after 50 how to draw and illustrate comics. And he sent a few of those panels to Mike Richardson of Dark Horse, and Mike Richardson said, I'll publish this. By the end of the year, we had a published comic that became a Best American comic. And then in a few years, we got Concrete Park, the graphic novel, which Forbes said was one of the best graphic novels in America. That is turning a crisis into opportunity. But it took us having to also recreate ourselves and realize that the world would not see us the way we wanted to. So we had to create the way. And the way was not going to be through that door, but through a door that had DIY in it, do it yourself. And then a different white man who said, I'll publish that. It shows you the community is there. And there are people who do see the future, but first see the future for yourself. If not, create the way, create the spaceship. And I always said that if that became successful and I've got to write this book, that I would write a book called How This Nigga Got to Mars and dedicate it to that studio head. Booyah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erica Alexander.
That's the master class. Hello.
Nice. So my off-road moment or my crisis that turned into an opportunity was after living single ended, I went into a depression. Not coming to work with your friends and family every day. It was rough. Not getting booked on another show or being called to audition for something that this is not it. This is not it. And so my depression, everybody has their way that they deal with depression before they get help. Some people drink, some people eat, some people do drugs. Mine was shopping. And I've told the story many times of shopping through all of my money. I would, all the stores. And I didn't discriminate, whether it was a 99-cent store or Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus. I wanted to fill myself up with things. And I think now, after getting some therapy, that it's because I didn't think I deserved this. I'm just a girl from Brooklyn who was funny and goofy. And here it was, I had reached, as high as you can reach. To be a number one show on a network is no small feat. And I didn't feel that I deserved, I always talk about not being educated like my parents. My generation is the first generation that didn't finish college. My grandmother had her master's. What am I doing, floundering show business and not working? So I was depressed. I didn't make much money. I was shopping through the residual checks and got to that place of desperation. What am I going to do? Because I thought this is what I'm supposed to do. I wanted to be Carol Burnett and Lucy and Whoopi and all the things, and it just wasn't happening right now. I was going to drive off of Mulholland Boulevard.
Drive?
I was going to drive.
Sorry.
I was going to drive
Please
my
forgive
car.
me. Forgive me.
Why? Because it's dramatic.
Because it's
right?
very James Dean.
Oh, it's yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, I was going to drive off of Mulholland. Oh, yeah, I was going to go out in a blaze, and it's very easy to
probably
just drive off the road.
Yeah, but and hit a tree and go nowhere.
Or end up a paraplegic and not end up like
that's a rough ride.
I asked myself, what are my gifts? And my gifts are humor and heart. And I could always go back to stand up, and I did. And then I transitioned from stand up into speaking. Same skill set. I can be on stage. I can write my material. I just added inspirational messages to it. And then that it went on to be a speaker. I went on to then develop books and develop products and services and teaching actually entrepreneurs how to tell their story effectively, and develop this whole other arm of the Kim Coles brand, such that, to be honest, Hollywood is now something I do for fun. I'm glad that I get called. I'm glad that I get opportunities. But my main gig is coaching entrepreneurs, helping people tell their story, helping people become better speakers, helping people to add humor to their story in a way that really connects with an audience. And so that through this crisis of being broken and shopping through all my money and wanting to say, I don't belong here anymore, to find a new way that I could belong and a new way that I could teach, help people publish their books, help people write their books, that I love to now exercise all parts of myself. And so the opportunity is, and always is, for everybody to go searching for what you can do, all the things that you can do, and then activate all of those things. And in that moment, you'll find opportunities for yourself that are not tied to some guy in a suit going, she's the right girl for the job. Like, I'm not, the money that I make as Kim Coles coach, storyteller, speaker has nothing to do with some guy in a suit in an office somewhere. It's going directly to the people, going directly to the audience.
I love that your swing low, sweet chariot moment.
Yeah.
Gave you a gift, literally, and that's what you named it, and you became again that lateral thinking to say, I'm more than this, and yet it took everything that you had built inside of, who you are, to actually pull that off.
That was my way back, and the way I stay on the off road of my choosing.
Amen, sister.
Okay,
now that is a masterclass.
All right, moving.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. That's my favorite phrase. You're welcome. Welcome to True Blue. This is the segment in which we hear from you. You write in, you call in, you send your video, and you ask us a question. We're ready for you right now. Amber, who do we have?
Who has the plate that was behind the couch that has all of your faces on it, except for the guys' faces, but all the women's faces on it? Do y'all know where that plate is, or who has it at all?
That great question, and people have talked about that beautiful plate. I'm pretty sure that Yvette Lee Bowser has that plate.
I'm very sure, actually, she talks about it. She has that plate. So that plate was behind the couch on the side, on the console. Thank you. You have the right word.
Yeah.
When you look at the Cosby Show, they always had art on the walls. And I think that people started to realize that Black people had great artists too. And looking at the shows from, Fresh Prince on, that was the one thing that could be a silent sort of marker of the show, is that if you look at our walls, it was a platform for artists of color.
Beautiful African artists. And so Yvette has that plate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean Baker, for coming on and just blessing us with history and masterclass and your excellence. And we really did laugh a lot during Living Single and during Homework, the show that we did together. And he is excellence in human form and tight nipply shirts.
Right. And by the way, if you want to send a question to True Blue, there was a video question, which is cool. We love the video questions as well. You can send it to reliving_single_podcast@heartbeat.com.
And we'd be happy to answer them for you. That's our show.
Best. That's our show.
It's a good one.
That was a great one. It's a great one. So, yeah, it's okay to get sick. It's how you come back.
Yes.
Make sure you click the follow and
and like
subscribe
and share
all
it
of
with your
that. Share with your
friends.
friends
Yeah.
and help us build and create a pathway to the other side.
That's right.
Yeah, we love you.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you're not going to be here?
I am.
Yeah, of
Me or
course.
my
Wait.
avatar.
Okay.
Reliving Single is hosted by me, Eric Alexander.
And me, Kim Coles.
Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media.
Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanagan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnand.
The show is produced by Kim Coles.
Amber Watson is our senior producer.
Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson.
Our other associate producer is Electra Telesford. Our video editor is Nee Kirschman.
Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson.
Production supervision by Razak Boykin and Brett Calkins.
Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z Taylor.
Special thanks to BK Augustine and Dr. E.J. Johnson.